When working with money, percentages often appear. Sometimes it might be in a sale at a shop where we see things like 10% off. It could be when we're having a look at our receipt and they talk about tax and an extra amount added on. It can also appear when we're walking past the bank and we see interest rates for home loans and different ways of borrowing money. Today we're going to have a look at 3 different ways that percentages can be used. The first is discounts, and we all love discounts. So we'll start with that one. We're also going to have a look at markup. This one's really important if you're running a business and you want to sell things and actually make a profit. And the last one we'll have a look at is tax, and we've probably all experienced tax, but maybe we've not really known that it's been there. So for the first one, discounts. This is the one that we've all seen before when we might see 15% off an item and we think fantastic. It won't be as expensive as it usually is, and that just means that an amount gets taken off the original price or a reduced price. So one example could be 15% off a $25 t-shirt. And what we want to know is, well, if it's a little bit discounted and there's a little bit less taken off, how much is that new price? So the first thing we really need to figure out is, well, what is 15% of $25? So on paper, we can either write 25 times 0.15. That's just the decimal version of 15%. Then we can get our CAS out and we will get 3.75. Now remember, that's dollars, so $3.75. So that's the discount. That's how much we're saving. But if we want to know the new price, we have to get the original and take away the discount. So $25 take away $3.75. Now you don't need to be a hero and try and do it in your head. This is where sometimes little mistakes happen. So you get your CAS out, 25 take away $3.75, and we'd get $21.25. So this is an example of how a discount can work. So there's a percentage that our price is being reduced by, and then what we have to work out is first, well, how much are we saving? We're saving $3.75. Then the next thing is, well, what is this new price? So we just get our original price and take away $3.75. Another time that percentages get used are markup, and it's very, very similar. The only difference is markup, this time we add on to. So if you're running a store and you buy a whole bunch of items wholesale and you want to on-sell them, so you want to sell them to some customers, it wouldn't make sense to sell them for the same price. You want to add a little bit on top. So often we talk about markup as a percentage as well. So sometimes we might have a markup of 10%. That just means we're adding on an extra 10% to the regular price. So just say, for example, we have a 10% markup. Well, that's not a P. Markup on a $170 item. Well, let's find that new price. It's very similar to before. First, we need to find 10% of 170. So we go 170 and we multiply that by the decimal version. So multiplied by 0.1, and we would get $17. Now this time, because we're marking up and we're adding onto the price, we want to find the new price, we have to get the original, and this time we have to add the markup. So in this case, if we're having a 10% markup on a $170 item, then we'd go 170 plus 17. Well, now we've got $187. So you're selling it for a little bit more, so you're making that $17 profit. Now, tax works in a very similar way. Tax is a little bit like markup, but rather than you as the shopkeeper getting to keep it, tax is something that gets sent to the government and they use it for all sorts of cool things. So they make roads and they pay for hospitals and schools. But we calculate this in a very similar way. Now, in Australia, it's pretty easy. All of our taxes on things that we buy in the shops, it's always the same amount. It's always 10%. So the working out's exactly the same as before, but we'll do another example anyway. So we might have a t-shirt for, let's go $45 plus GST. So that's goods and services tax. So what's the new price now? The final price that we pay for the t-shirt plus the tax on top. So like I said, in Australia, tax is always 10%, so that makes it really easy for us. $45 times 0.1, so that's the decimal version of 10%. So the tax that we're paying on this is going to be 4.5 or $4.50. So to get the new price, we have to get the original, and we have to add the tax. So originally the t-shirt was $45, and we're adding another $4.50. So now the price, including the added on tax, is $49.50.